Going live. Hey guys, thought I'd chat to you guys while I'm drinking my drink. Have another video. Why not? Some stuff I wanted to add to the last video. Not last video, about the cult mentality of the world right now. And it's funny that when you join a cult, they get you to change your diet. And the reason you change your diet to a vegetarian or vegan diet is because of cognitive issues. You don't think as well. You're not on the spot. Um, they get you to get on these diets so you don't question as much. And people are like, oh, but it's healthier. Um, it's it's there are no studies that prove that it is healthier. You can live maybe an extra 5 years or longer. That's it's ridiculous. But yeah, when you join a cult, they get you to change your diet, and they get you to um, you know think less because of it. Um, what I want to say is everyone has joined a cult, and they don't really understand that they're in a cult yet. They're it's usually it's brought on. Um, People seek these sorts of things once they go through mental trauma, especially women when they go through a breakup. Well, men do it as well, but when you go through a breakup, in the next few weeks after a breakup, you're usually very susceptible to ideas and influences. And one of those things is blaming, well, what this cult is really good at is blaming men for everything. Like the patriarchy has done this, the patriarchy has done that. Um, they go through a massive breakup, and this cult comes out to them, which is a leftist cult. They come to them and they say, "Well, it's not your fault. You're not the problem. You don't beat up men. You don't physically attack men. It's actually the patriarchy that's the problem, and it's not you. It's somebody else that's the problem." And so they are lured through that means into the leftist cult. Don't get me wrong, the right has a cult as well. So they join these cults, and the cult is the left cult at the moment, where they've got a uniform, where they dye their hair, cut their hair short. You can see them from a mile away. They're in the cult, straight away, like just like cults of old days. Cut your hair off, get on the vegan diet. Straight away, like these are cult things, man. Like, and they were what they're trying to do is disembowel the family. That I was talking to someone today, like the idea of marriage and having kids is now seen as like um, repulsive. But here's the thing: when you hit 30, you don't really date anyone anymore. Like you lose your looks. That thing of wanting to go out and have sex with randoms every weekend disappears. Those feelings disappear, and what you start to look for at that age is comfort and staying with someone for many years. And if you've lost your looks and that edge, what are you going to do? That's This is where a family comes along. If you are with someone for 5 or 6 years and you've started having kids, then the new love starts to come through. Your kids start to love you heaps. You get this overwhelming love for something that is beyond your. It's almost spiritual, the love that you'll have for your kids. I've never had kids because I have problems, like physical problems from uh, an illness that I have. But it changes. Life is constantly evolving. The problem with a lot of people these days are trying to live in the moment, right? In the now. It's a narcissistic society, and all they care about is themselves and trying to live in the moment. But when you step back far enough, you start to realize, well, what about in 10 years' time? What about other people? What about and trying to hedge yourself for the future? In 20 years' time, what are you going to do? Sit by yourself with your 3 cats and be loved by your family who, like, that you have not built around you? It's very important, and it's being eaten away in our society. But it's a bad idea. How? How is it a bad idea to love someone for 30 years and have kids with these people. It was seen as a bad idea when I was growing up, and now looking back, I see it as a mistake. That to love someone and have kids with is actually a beautiful thing. And it's not that you just love your wife the whole time. There's a new type of love that comes along when you have kids, and there's new respect that you have for people that you've never had before. And our society is starting to miss that. And it's going to get worse and worse, our society, as we start to blame other things like the patriarchy, which is a made up cultist word because the cult like to make up words. When you join a cult, they'll make up words that only you and the cult understand. And that is happening in our society as well. It's an inclusive thing that you don't get because you're an old man. And if you want to be part of it, get with us. It's really silly. It's messed up. I'm going to have this drink. This drink saved my life. I have two things. I've got a bad pituitary gland, which makes me quite sick. And then I'm a carrier of cystic fibrosis, which can exacerbate things that I get like lung infections and can't have kids, all that sort of stuff. It sucks. And when I first started coming down with all this stuff, I lost all my friends. They didn't actually rally around me or anything like that. I think a lot of them just thought I was making stuff up, which is ridiculous. Like you can't just. I almost died twice, like in hospital. Anyway, I'm gonna try this drink. This drink is if you get a lot of stomach issues, because I got them with this. This will settle your stomach. It's a little bit of poppy seeds blended, and it really helps. It saved my life. I'm trying it with vinegar today. It's a bit weird. What are you all up to? Are you trying to avoid the cold? I'd like to talk a bit about the other side of the cult. There's the right cult right now. It's not the right cult, but it's the right cult. How they have their own words, like they have this QAnon stuff, and they have all these conspiracies that go along with that, and then they have their own abbreviations. And if you're not with them, you're against them mentality as well. It's really, really awesome. Just awesome as someone who likes to step back and watch it from a distance, to see America being put into two groups. So the drink isn't that bad. It's all right. I'm trying to think of something awesome to say about the cult stuff. Like pop cult. I want to think of a word that will mean what it is. Like it's the adoption of cultural Marxism, but they've turned that into a cult. Turned all these ideas into a with us or against us mentality, and tried to turn it into a fashion trend and everything like that, and blaming everything in life that goes wrong on men or patriarchy. Or I can't believe how many women have been sucked into it. Like, I thought women are really intelligent. They are. That's where you get your intelligence from. When you have a baby, it's the women that pass on their intelligence to the kids. That side of the family that you get it from. And to see this many women like fall for this whole patriarchy is bad, family values are bad, having kids is bad. There's power in that. Like when there's a lady with kids, she has all the power. She owns the house. She owns it doesn't matter what's going on. She has all the power. Then it's a way of getting power back, not taking it from you. There is a matriarchy when you have kids. It's set up in that way. All of a sudden, I love people to come online and have a chat with me. Keep making these live videos and no one's here. I would love, like after all this is done, people look back and realize what's going on. But what I worry about is by the time people snap out of this idea, they'll be in their 40s and realize they've destroyed the best part of their life, just hating and trying to get revenge and trying to make things even when they don't need to be. You're trying to make things even in the wrong areas. You're trying to make things even with money instead of social aspects or love. You know, make things make love even. That's what we should be focusing on. What else do I want to say about? It's funny how a lot of love is now spun around, and it's now like it's hate. Hate. I think one of my exes, we went through a bad breakup. It's just an example of what happens. I wanted to marry her, like, but when I was with her after, like, I'm not gonna say any names, of course. I was with her first 3 years. Yeah, I wanted to marry her. We're making lots of music together and all that sort of stuff. And the thing is, it got really hard because her family were massive feminists, um, and they have this whole bad attitude towards her and I because I guess because we want to get married. But you know, every weekend or every second weekend she'd cry about how her family hated me, and that takes its toll on you when you constantly hearing how my family don't like you and they don't see the good side of you. It's like, what side have they been told about by me and by who? Like, um, constantly. And then at home, life was really bad because very controlling. Wasn't allowed to talk to my friends, and because they would lead me astray. Like they would make the worst of me come out. And this is someone I had to leave because she started getting violent. And yeah, she couldn't hurt me, but she definitely winded me once, and it was out of the when you get hit out of the blue, you don't expect it and you don't tense up. You get winded. She get jealous of my sister. She'll run off into the night if I talk to my sister and all that sort of stuff. And the crazy thing is, when I broke up with her, she wouldn't accept it. And then she called her family to try and solve things. Who I don't know why they would want to solve it if they didn't like it in the first place. So they tried to solve it and decided that maybe this and that could happen. But the thing is, she was so violent and upset all the time, like every day, that all I wanted her to do was go see a doctor, maybe get put on antidepressants. And I would have stayed with her, but she refused to get help for her. She thought I was the problem and that I needed all the help when it was, let's say, 50-50, that she wouldn't get the help she needed. I would never hit her or yell at her in that way or get jealous of her or stop her from talking to friends. But what happened then, so this is the example, I finally break up and she stops talking to me, goes to me, all that stuff. That was really hard. But the thing is, she turned to this leftist thing who welcomed her arms open and wide open and blamed everything on the patriarchy and it's not her, it's something else. It's like she's gone through this uh, tragic thing of a breakup, and she's had to blame something else instead of herself, and that's patriarchy, which is it's not real. The patriarchy is not. It's something that every time I hear it's changed. So, oh, it's patriarchy because they get more money. Well, do they really? I would hire all girls, wouldn't I? If I could pay them less. It's all because of and the second you question these things, it becomes the cult will defend it to the death. Like, well, is it real? Is this real? No, let's go get him. Let's hang him. He's a sacrilegious. He's speaking against our religion, and it is just a religion now. If you have these beliefs, you're in a religious cult, and you defend it in exactly the same way, which is pretty bad. The second people say things like I'm a feminist or I believe in the patriarchy, all that sort of stuff, I know straight away they're in a cult. That's all it says. Like when I'm hiring people or whatever, and it says feminist, I don't go near them. So because I know they'll have that cult mentality, there's an example of like how bad this can be for like companies. Like there was this girl I knew who um, tried to get a guy fired because he was moving boxes and he decided to take his shirt off. That is him being overheated and trying to, yeah. But what it is it's me. He's doing it for me. It's a narcissistic thing, like, oh, he must be doing it. So like, and I felt so uncomfortable. I'm like, you're destroying the work. You're like, come on, man. Like, if I don't understand what's happened. Like we've gone through an industrial revolution where everyone was cool with each other and we're all on the same footing. It's really sad to see. Everyone's in a cult, and women can't even stand or be near men anymore. They can't stand near them, or they. It's like, well, they're scary creatures. Who told you that? The news. I read it in a book somewhere. They could pull out their dick and whip it in me at any moment, at a moment's notice. What's crazy is like 79% of the household, when they're buying things, it's women. It's mostly women. They have all the power. I just don't want to think about that anymore. Anyway, left and right have gone mad at each other's throats like idiots. It's just funny how trauma can send people in that direction. A breakup. Maybe that's why so many women are into this cult idea now. Because it gives them something to blame other than themselves. So bad. It's almost like cancer ripping through our society. And when it's done, there will be no society left because it'll be dead. And there is no removing it too, because they'll kick and scream and pretend like you're the problem when you're the anti-cancer, when you're chemotherapy coming to fix them. I wonder what the future is going to be if it keeps heading in this direction. I know it's going to be civil war. It's the collapse of our society. Not looking forward to it. What else can I talk about other than this crap? This drink is vinegar. It's terrible. Really not tasty. Maybe we can start thinking of how to pull people out of these cult-like ideas. Like how do we grab people and start reflecting and start getting them to see themselves in the mirror and see what's actually going on. Start thinking of the future as well. Like I might do a lot of reading on how to get people out of cults. And I know, like, the second you tell them they're in a cult, they just double down. Like, so we've got to figure out a way of getting around this. I mean, like, you're in a cult. Giving it a name would be a pretty good start of what this is. Not cultural Marxism, but the type of cult that they're in. Like this popular cult that you don't have to pay money for. You use your soul. Soul contract. And you join. You will fight this invisible monster, which is the patriarchy, which is Satan and religion. They've got their, and part of that, the problem is men. Oh man, there must be people like laughing every day when they like put out new things. No, there's no way people are going to take this up. There's no way. Like it will spread, and then when it does, they must be like on the floor rolling around about what they've done to our society. They took it up. They're doing it. They're idiots. Men and women have problems. We all do. It's unreal. All we need is love. All we need is love.